If you show me your FYP right now, I could predict your future. I spent 2 hours a night doom scrolling, and it made me the most disciplined person I know. So, what if your worst habit is actually the secret to changing your life? I spent months deliberately doom scrolling for hours a day, but with one specific twist that completely rewired my subconscious mind. Your For You page is not distracting you, it is programming you. And once I realized that, I used my feed to force myself to become a completely different person. This is what I did. I decided to build my dream body. I had no coach, no gym partner, no mentor. All I had was my phone, internet, and social media. So I doom scrolled my way into becoming the strongest, fittest, healthiest version that I have ever been. Let me show you how. After I found the gym and registered with it, I decided to filter my focus. I used social media because I was already interested in fitness. I was already following some fitness influencers. So one night, I unfollowed almost everyone I didn't personally know who was not connected to fitness. Everyone. Then I followed the friends of the fitness influencers, their collaborators, their circles, and within days, my entire algorithm changed. My feed became discipline, strength, healthy meals, gym routines, consistency, athletic women, transformation videos, power, visceral power. Every night before bed, I'll doom scroll for at least an hour. But this time, I was not escaping reality. I was feeding my subconscious a new one. I would doom scroll, immediately go to bed, dream about what I had just absorbed, as sleep consolidated my mental atmosphere. And gradually and terrifyingly, my mind began to change. And my body followed soon after. But what changed first was the identity I had fed myself. Your algorithm is your real environment. Most people think their environment is just their city, their house, their friends, their workplace. No. In the modern world, your real environment is psychological, and your phone is the primary doorway into it. Think about this carefully. The average person spends more time staring at their algorithm than staring at nature. They spend more time absorbing strangers' opinions than hearing their own thoughts. They spend more time consuming emotionally charged media than consciously building their identity. And yet, people still underestimate how deeply the brain adapts to repetition. Human beings become what they repeatedly consume, not occasionally, repeatedly. Every night, for the hours you scroll before you fall asleep with your phone in your hand, your nervous system absorbs atmosphere. Social media is atmosphere, and your feed is your atmosphere. It's an emotional climate, a psychological ecosystem, a digital religion. Each scroll is exposure. Each exposure becomes familiarity. Familiarity becomes identity. And that's the mechanism nobody talks about enough. The subconscious does not care what is real. The subconscious mind is not logical the way people imagine. It responds to repetition, emotion, imagery, consistency. This is why visualization works psychologically. This is why propaganda works historically. This is why advertising works economically. The brain adapts to repeated exposure, and algorithms understand this better than most people do. That is why apps are designed the way they are. Infinite scrolling, short dopamine bursts, rapid emotional stimulation, repeated imagery. Because repeated exposure changes perception. And eventually, luxury becomes normalized. Beauty standards become normalized. Fitness becomes normalized. Toxicity becomes normalized. Outrage becomes normalized. Loneliness becomes normalized. The subconscious slowly starts asking, if this is what I see constantly, maybe this is what reality is supposed to look like. And the subconscious does not ask your permission to absorb what it does. And that changes your behavior in a terrifyingly quiet yet automatic way, believe me. Social media is modern hypnosis. People hear the word hypnosis and imagine someone swinging a watch. No, modern hypnosis is repetition. The same ideas, the same imagery, the same emotional patterns, repeated until your brain absorbs them automatically. That is what algorithms do to you. They study what captures your attention, what keeps you emotional, what makes you pause, what you replay, what you linger on. Then they feed you more of it, and more of it, and more of it, over and over and over. Meaning your attention trains the algorithm, and the algorithm trains you back. The algorithm trains you back. You are trained by your algorithm. That is algorithm hypnosis. And all of us that doom scroll are participating unconsciously. We think we're just consuming content. Meanwhile, the content is constructing our lives. The dark side of unconscious scrolling. This is where it gets dangerous, because most people's feeds are emotional poison. Fear, comparison, rage, conflict, insecurity, consumption, hopelessness, and emotions repeated consistently become personality traits eventually. A person who consumes outrage daily slowly becomes angrier. A person who consumes hopelessness daily slowly becomes more defeated psychologically. A person who consumes hypersexualized validation culture daily slowly struggles to feel enough naturally. And because the changes happen gradually, people rarely notice the transformation happening in real time. But your nervous system notices, your subconscious notices, your identity notices. Fitness was my first experiment because it was visual, concrete, observable. I wanted strength, confidence, health, discipline. So I built an algorithm around those identities on purpose. And after weeks of seeing strong women, disciplined routines, after months actually, of seeing consistency, healthy meals, transformation stories, my mind stopped categorizing fitness as other people's lives. It started to feel accessible to me, normal, expected, and that changed my behavior. I stopped seeing fitness as this magic thing that a special set of people do. I started to see fitness as something that I can do. Because humans move toward what feels normalized in their minds. That is why your environment shapes your destiny. And again, your feed is your environment. A digital one, but your environment nonetheless. And as a matter of fact, in this day and age, it's your most important environment. The psychology of normalization. Normalization is one of the strongest forces in human behavior. Human beings unconsciously imitate what feels socially and psychologically familiar. That's why friend groups influence habits. That's why your city influences your ambition. That's why families influence mindset. Repeated exposure changes internal standards. And you have no control whatsoever over this. And algorithms are repetition machines, which means this: if your feed constantly shows discipline, discipline begins feeling like you're normal. If your feed constantly shows creativity, creativity feels more accessible to you. If your feed constantly shows victimhood, victimhood begins feeling inevitable. People underestimate how much their standards are not actually theirs. They underestimate how much their standards are borrowed unconsciously and psychologically. This is how religion, propaganda, and algorithms use the same principle. This is not new. Human beings have always been shaped through repetition. Religion understood this. Daily prayer, repeated scripture, rituals, songs, symbols. Propaganda understood this. Repeated slogans, imagery, fear conditioning. Advertising understood this. Show people something enough times and eventually desire forms automatically without your permission. Algorithms simply industrialized repetition, automated it, personalized it, weaponized it, and now every person walks around carrying a custom-built psychological conditioning machine inside their pocket. And most people never consciously ask, what exactly is this thing training me to become? Your feed reveals your future. This may sound dramatic, but if I saw your algorithm for 30 days, I could probably predict the exact direction of your life in due time. Because attention predicts identity, and identity predicts behavior. A person consuming books, discipline, philosophy, health, creation develops differently from someone consuming drama, envy, rage, escapism, mindless stimulation. Your feed is rehearsal. You are rehearsing a personality every single day. Listen to that again. You are rehearsing a personality every single day. So no, your algorithm is not harmless and doom scrolling is not neutral. Every scroll teaches your nervous system something. What to desire, what to fear, what to normalize, what to become, who to become. And once I realized that, I stopped scrolling mindlessly and I began to curate my mind deliberately, intentionally, because the modern world is not only fighting for your time anymore, it is fighting for your identity, your attention, your desires, your self-concept, your future, your entire life. And maybe that's the real danger of the algorithm. Not that it distracts you, but that it gradually and ruthlessly constructs you while you are not paying attention. So the question is no longer, what are you watching? The question is, what are you becoming based on your algorithm? Start with one intentional follow on your social media pages and one intentional unfollow tonight. Start with it tonight. Go and do it now. Who are you becoming based on your algorithm? What emotional atmosphere does your feed create daily? It's been my pleasure as always to sit with you. This has been the Human Mirror. Look closely. You are never invisible. I'll see you in the next reflection.